Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wayne Gaming, and some of you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Remake, Sissel's Path. So y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm Chan, you are up, and let's go. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Every day, Sissel would climb through her window and demand the next lesson of their little reading class. Sissel bashed his way through Jenny's books and workloads with reckless abandon. She couldn't help but feel a rush of pride every day when the little beggar boy thanked her before sneaking out her window. Jenny had never helped people before. One day, during one of their lessons, Jenny absentmindedly asked Sissel if there was anything he wished for. Any big dreams or big goals in life? Sissel stopped chewing on his pen and grew quiet for a moment. Well, I used to dream about having a family. Jenny blinked, surprised. I used to think they'd find me one day and I'd be able to grow up like a regular kid. You know, with a mom and dad. Then I'd go to school, get a good job, and live a successful life. Something like that. That was all it was, though. A dream. Jenny glanced at her friend with worry. You don't dream of that anymore? Sissel suddenly stood up and looked at Jenny with a mix of anger and determination. So cute. Sure I do, but what good is dreaming? What good is dreaming going to do? I'm sick of waiting for something that'll never happen. I'm sick of waiting. Any old idiot can dream. Any old idiot can wish for something their entire life and hope that it happens. It takes something else entirely to grab that dream with your own hands and work for it, to fight for it. Nothing worth getting is just going to fall into your lap with no effort. Sissel turned towards Jenny, a proud and grateful grin on his face. What can I do today to work towards my dream? I saw you. I saw someone who could teach me to read and help me grow into a better person, so I grabbed it. I'm going to learn to read. Then I'll be able to take on better jobs and learn new things. After that, I'm gonna find something I'm real good at, and I'll make a good living off of it. The younger Sissel grinned at Jenny, his face full of pride. And then I'll finally pay you back for your faith in me, Teach. I don't have a family, but I've got you, don't I? Jenny could only stare up at Sissel with a dumb, happy smile across her face. Huh? Teach, are you crying? Sorry, I didn't mean to make you so... Jenny shook her head. She reached out and held Sissel's hand firmly. Sissel didn't know what to do about this... Didn't know what to do as this useless, defective girl sobbed quietly into his arm. No, I'm happy. You make me happy. I'm glad I've got you too. What would I do without you? Probably still be reading in her room. Sissel stared as the memory of his younger self slowly faded into white. Shame gripped at his heart as he stood by himself in his empty world. Sissel, are you all right? Sissel took a deep breath and turned to face his mother's kind, worried face. He felt tears threatening to blur his vision as he tried to find something to say. Mom, I think I have to go. Cecilia Bradley frowned with concern and placed her hands on his shoulders. So soon? Are you sure? Sissel nodded. His hand reached up and grabbed his mother's. He didn't want her to let her go, but... You're dead. The words left Sissel's throat as tears streamed down his cheeks. You're never coming back. I can't stay here. I've got people outside waiting for me. I can't afford to let them down. Cecilia Bradley's face softened. Her hands brushed Sissel's face and gently wiped away his tears. I know. Sissel pulled close into one last hug. Sissel held her close, burying his face into her shoulder as tears continued to fall. For what it's worth, I'm proud to call you my son. Sissel smiled, wet tears rolling down his face as his mother slowly disappeared, her words etched into his heart. The white dreamscape around him rumbled slowly as cracks began to form. Except she kinda is still alive, in a way. She is the Lady of the Lake. Slowly it began falling apart. He was ready to wake up now. A low laugh echoed through the air as the world crumbled apart around him. Are you sure you want to leave? You'll never see her again, you know. Sissel took a deep breath and faced forward with a determination he hadn't felt in a long time. Yeah. You've really grown up, haven't you? The remnant chuckled, and a pride in its voice. But the real question is, who took this perfect world from you? Who stole your childhood and this perfect life from you? What is the truth? Second, y'all. Water time. Alrighty. I crouched over Sissel's bed and anxiously watched as Jenny and Bradley rested their hands on Sissel's forehead. Her eyes were closed in concentration as the minutes ticked by. The room was silent. Slowly, Jenny's eyes fluttered open as she awoke from her daze. Did you do it? Did it work? Jenny rubbed her eyes and glanced at Sissel nervously. I think so? There was a groan as Sissel slowly stirred in his sleep. His eyes were still closed, but his face was agitated as several tears fell down his cheeks. The Black Lady of Bradley Lake lifted her hand from Sissel's forehead. He is waking. It will take several minutes for him. Maybe. Yeah, she's definitely Sissel's mom. Same dress and everything. It will take several minutes for him to recover, but soon Sissel will be well again. She turned towards Jenny with a nod of gratitude. Thank you for taking care of him. Jenny smiled and let out a sigh of relief. Of course, it's the least I could... The room suddenly went cold as a dark figure lumbered out of the shadows. Well done. Well done, Ginevra Corliss. You've done it again. We both immediately stood up straight and crowded in front of Sissel protectively. What the hell do you want? Haven't you done enough damage already? The remnant cackled as he staggered closer to us. The problems were already there. All I did was point them out. As he came closer, I noticed he was carrying something small and golden in his mouth. The remnant grinned and dropped Herschel's culinary competition trophy onto the ground with a thud. You will need this later. Congratulations on waking your friend. I wish you all the best. With another maniacal laugh, the remnant disappeared into the dark. I exchanged confused glances with Jenny. Looks like there will be more trouble coming our way. It was another 10 minutes before Sissel finally opened his eyes. Words could never describe the sheer relief we felt. Jenny and I fussed over him, asking if he was all right, if he was hurt. Sissel stared at us blankly for a moment, still dazed. And the first thing he did was sit up and pull Jenny into a tight hug. She was surprised at first, but embraced him with a laugh. Hey, sis. Glad to have you back. You feeling all right? I'm just glad to be back. It's nice to see you, Teach. Oh, and Adrian, too. A wave of relief washed over me as I rested a hand on Sissel's shoulder. I did my best to bite back that involuntary bitter feeling in the back of my head before smiling at him. You nearly drowned in a lake and were unconscious for almost 2 whole days. Are you sure you're all right? Herschel's getting a doctor to check over you right now, but... I glanced out the window at the violent rainstorm screeching outside. Looks like it'll take him a while to come back. I should probably send Herschel a text message to let him know Sissel had woken up. Sissel flinched at the mention of Herschel and glanced at the door. Is Boss still mad at me? No, of course not. You should have seen him. He was so worried about you. Herschel fussed over and took care of you the entire time you were unconscious. Sissel grew very quiet and hung his head low. Oh, right. Boss, is my uncle. Yeah, wait. What? Jenny and I gaped at him. When did this happen? Sissel chuckled, but there was a heavy look on his face. I guess we have a lot to catch up on, huh? Second, y'all. It is water time. We explained what had happened since Sissel had passed out. I researched in the library, finding Sissel drowning in Bradley Lake and Herschel nursing him back to health. There was no mention of the remnant ripping the Echo apart or the Black Lady of Bradley Lake aiding us. The mere idea of it sounded too crazy. I see. Don't just I see. Tell us what you meant when you said Herschel is your uncle. Oh, right. He sounded distracted. I kind of found a VHS made by my mother when I was a baby. Herschel was there recording the video and laughing with us. My mother is Cecilia Bradley. It turns out Herschel's my uncle. Wow, that's a pretty big bombshell. How does that make you feel? Yikes, that's the most therapist thing I've ever heard from you. Ginevra Corliss, therapist extraordinaire, at your service. Seriously, though, are you doing all right? This kind of revelation isn't easy to process. Sissel's eyes stared into the distance in an unsettling frown. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to know my mom didn't throw me out like trash, but... Has Boss Herschel always known about this? He had to have at least suspected I was his nephew. It explains why he took care of a random kid off the street. But why didn't he tell me? There was a suspiciously bitter edge to his voice that made me more than a little nervous. Well, hey, orphan boy, it turns out I'm your uncle and your mom is dead isn't something you can just announce out of the blue. Maybe Herschel just didn't want to make things awkward. Maybe. The attic door suddenly slammed open and a rain-soaked Herschel stumbled inside. I got your text. Is he... Herschel's face lit up and he bounced into Sissel in a crushing and wet bear hug. You're awake! Jesus, tap dancing Christ, don't scare me like that again. You have any idea how worried I was? Herschel squeezed Sissel close to his chest, sighing with relief. Sissel didn't hug back immediately. It took a few moments before his arms rested suspiciously on Herschel's back. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to worry you. No. I should be the one apologizing. Herschel stuttered and struggled to compose himself. What I mean to say is, well, first and foremost, I'm really sorry for blowing up at you the other day. I just got real angry and said things I couldn't take back. You didn't deserve any of that. About that, mind explaining why you're so twitchy about your culinary competition winnings? You've been very shifty about the whole subject. Herschel's ears twitched and he sat back nervously. It's a long story. I've got time. It sounds like you've got a lot to tell, Uncle. What? How did you find out? You did promise to explain everything once Sissel woke up. Don't you want to set things right? Well, yeah, but... Herschel felt uncomfortably silent and he looked away, avoiding eye contact with Sissel. It's that difficult, huh? Sissel scowled and gently reached for the golden trophy cup left on his bedside by the remnant. He brushed his fingers over the Herschel McDermott on the plaque, his gaze hardening. You don't have to say anything. I think I have a pretty good picture of what happened. A culinary contest. We flew across the country to attend the final shortly after my mother had me. My grandparents' debtors visited her while you were gone and killed her after finding out she didn't have any money. They took everything in the cabin, including the baby, me. Sissel paused and looked up from staring at the trophy. Herschel's head hung low with shame as he avoided any eye contact. His brow shook as he tried to hold in whatever he was feeling. I wanted to tell you for so long. When I found you on the streets as a kid, I immediately knew. I thought the world had given me another chance, so did everything I could to take care of you from there on. But I was so scared that you would hate me for everything that happened to you. And so you decided to hide it. The bitter edge to Sissel's voice cut like a knife. Yeah. I get that part, but there's something that just doesn't click. Herschel's eyes widened. He gulped and looked up, shoulders shaking. What do you mean? My mother was killed by the debtors because she didn't have any money left. They probably thought she was refusing to pay and got violent. There wasn't a reason to kill if she was still coughing up dough, right? You'd figure Cecilia Bradley would save up some money in case this happened, right? But she didn't. Allegedly. There was a long, tense pause. Herschel's fists were gripped so tightly that his knuckles turned white. Sissel held the trophy up to the light, examining it closely, and then he turned towards Herschel. Herschel, where did you get the money to fly to the Nationals? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Ah! Boo! Kaboom! Bombshell! The trip's travel costs aren't covered for contenders in the competition. So where the hell did you find the money to get there? You were hardly swimming in any money at this point in your life. It's not what it sounds like. Is it, though? Is it? Sissel stood up from his seat and glared at Herschel with absolute fury. You were just like me. So damn desperate to win this trophy, wanting to make something out of yourself. Except I didn't steal money from my only remaining family for a damn trophy. That's not... Am I wrong? Herschel gaped in stunned dread before hanging his head down in shame. No. You're right. My sister was a good person, a better one than I could ever be. I thought this was a chance to prove myself. I thought if I could just win the competition, I could use the prize money to pay back all of our family debts. In the end, I won, but... Sissel gritted his teeth and lifted the trophy in his hands. You won! But in the end, my mother was murdered, and I was thrown into a dumpster. My family, my childhood, all my time scavenging and begging on the streets, all for this damn cup! With an utterly disgusted snarl, Sissel smashed the trophy into the ground. The golden shard That would be hard to do, unless that was a cheap-ass trophy. Real trophies are generally made from, at least back in the day, real trophies are made from, actual, gold and silver. Kind of hard to actually, just shatter it. The golden shard shattered across the wooden attic floor as Sissel stormed out of the room, not once glancing at Herschel's direction. I just wanted to help! Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right there, guys. Jeez, that is, intense. Alright, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks, or a tip if you can, it always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!